not looking past DR Congo, but I think I just got like a shiver of goosebumps there. Like playing Mexico in Mexico City at the Azteca. That's like, yeah, that's biblical stuff, in it. Let's kick it off. I'm your host, Steve, and I'm joined today by AJ and Ash. Ash, how's it going?
What have you done, Steve? We've upgraded.
Wow, it's been a long time coming, isn't it? Nearly 2 years down the line since we did that first podcast on Zoom, Ruben Amorim's first game at United. And yeah, nearly 2 years later, we're here in a studio. So shout out to Mill Podcast Studio in Stockport. Really great setup here. We've got Daniel behind the camera. And yeah, really looking forward to this today. So let's get straight into it. It's the World Cup 2026 in the USA, Canada and Mexico. The group stages are done. We've had one knockout game last night as well. So yeah, it's getting tasty now. So AJ, you enjoying this World Cup?
Yeah, it's been really good. I've really enjoyed it. Some really good stories with Cape Verde qualifying for the knockouts. DR Congo as well. But yeah, it's been really enjoyable so far.
Yeah, I mean, can't complain, Ash. World Cup. I know one of your first World Cup memories would be 94, is it, USA?
Trying to reveal my age already.
Well, I'm not going to get into that. I don't remember that World Cup. So tell us about like that World Cup, your memories of the USA World Cup and how it compares to this World Cup, I guess.
Yeah, I'd like to say I would have been around for the 90 World Cup. That's when England obviously got to the semis against Germany. But yeah, I was 5. So the first real World Cup that I followed was 94 US. Great tournament for me. Obviously, unfortunately, England weren't there. So that's how I knew about, the likes of Italy and Brazil. So Italy had Baggio, like, storming the tournament, and then Brazil with, like, Romario and Bebeto. So, yeah, it was good times. And, I remember, like, trying to convince Dad to, let me watch games in the middle of the night or, late at night. And it's like, old memories, like 32 years on. So, yeah, love watching games in the middle of the night. It's just a game on all the time. I think it's 70, group games we've had, which is fantastic, for what this tournament's about, right? It's the World Cup.
Yeah,
so pinnacle.
It's interesting, right? So like, obviously this is the first tournament with 48 teams in it. I think, is it 16 more than the previous tournament? So like, there's obviously been a lot of chat about, you've got a lower level of team qualifying into the tournament. And let's be honest, there's been some group games where, let's say, low-ranking FIFA teams playing each other. And I'll be honest, I've not watched all of them, obviously partly because of the time difference. But I guess there's two sides to it for me. Like, you've got, the great stories of these smaller nations getting into the tournament, which is amazing for them. But then I'm a bit of a cynical. I'm thinking, are FIFA just doing this for the money, right? So, like, yeah, I guess, AJ, where do you sit in that? Do you see like, the magic side of it or the corporate side?
Yeah, I think both things can be true. It's clearly a money grab from FIFA, especially.
It's not like them, is it?
No, it's definitely unusual. It's definitely unusual for FIFA. But like we've mentioned, there's been some really good stories with the lower ranked teams. Yeah, I think it's definitely a money grab from FIFA. But we've seen some really good stories, and I think that's what the World Cup's about. The issue, that I see with the 48 teams is the third place teams. When they are in third place, like for example Scotland, they're sort of hanging around waiting to see if they are through to the knockouts.
And just to clarify on that, the reason for that is that the top 8 third place teams go through out of 12. Is that right?
Yeah.
So you don't know until all the group games are done, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. So you'll have fans not sure whether to hang around for a few extra days or go back home. And as we all know, it's been really expensive over in the US. And,
yeah, but FIFA care about fans, right?
Yeah,
remember that.
Fans first, right? That's their motto.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, because like, I guess with the game generally, we see it in the Premier League as well. Like, match going fans, they're always low down on the priority list. So I didn't even think about that point about hanging around and not knowing whether you're in or not. So yeah, and I guess, on that corporate greed angle, hydration breaks, Ash, talk to me.
Oh, well, everyone's blaming, the States for it, but it would have happened even if we had played this tournament, even in England, in terms of having these hydration breaks. So I don't know when FIFA introduced them initially, as in, you know, like we had like drinks breaks. But yeah, obviously it is obviously a ploy, you know, to have more
Is
adverts.
this not the first tournament with them?
But
Or?
they had drinks breaks in previous tournaments, so like for like a cup, you know, like a minute or so. You remember like Qatar World Cup, like they had the drinks break, but this is called, yeah, this is the first official like hydration break that they've ever had in a
Yeah,
FIFA tournament or World Cup
interesting.
tournament.
Yeah, because obviously, you know, climate is a big factor. I think in certain locations, let's clarify.
Yeah, you
like,
don't need it for every game.
Yeah, some of the stadiums are air conditioned, so it's again clearly a money ploy from FIFA. I think Fox estimate up to $200 million on their $200 million on their bottom line.
I think that's
on
the
these
key to
breaks,
say. Like, it's a FIFA thing because, like, obviously people put 2 and 2 together because US do it for NFL and, you know, whatever else sports, but it's mainly because FIFA have decided to do this. But yeah, it obviously, you know, breaks the flow of a game. Some people like it because they can, you know, go to the toilet or get a drink or a cup of tea, Steve. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, I guess one of the big complaints we've seen from certain managers and pundits is it breaks the flow of the game, obviously. So, like, you know,
tactical instructions can be put
Yeah.
across. Yeah,
So
changes the game.
it's very interesting. Yeah, I think after 3 or 4 weeks, there's a lot of PR coming out from FIFA during this tournament. And one of them was, oh, yeah, we've introduced the hydration breaks as a standard across all games so that, you know, it's fair competition. But yeah, I'm with you, AJ. I think it's for the advertising, isn't it?
Yeah, it's for the US market as well to make it a bit more digestible for them. I think they're more used to
Exactly,
20
breaks.
yeah,
Four quarters.
yeah. I'm not really into US sports like basketball or American football, but I believe it's a bit more stop-start. So maybe it's just to make it a bit more digestible for them. But I don't believe they do it in the MLS generally in the throughout the season. I don't think that's a thing. So it seems to be a FIFA initiative to try and make football a bit more easier for the US market and obviously sell more advertising slots on Fox.
Yeah, that's what it all comes back down to. So before we get into the football, one final issue is just to cover, I guess. Yeah, our old friend Donald Trump got obviously the FIFA Peace Award before he started the war. We'll save that for another pod. But I guess the knock-on impacts possibly is like some of the visa issues we've been seeing. Obviously, Iran seem to have been, you know, screwed over a little bit. Like some of their contingent haven't even been able to make it into certain areas, Ash. So yeah, what do you make of all that?
Yeah, it's been disgraceful. Like logistically, it's been a nightmare for the Iranian team. You know, having to travel through Tijuana for like all their games. You know, staff not being able to get visas even now. So in that sense, they have been like royally screwed over. FIFA said they would protect them. They didn't. But what do you expect from Gianni Infantino? We've talked about it with the corporate greed, but you know, he said even before the tournament, we won't worry about that.
It's not their concern.
It's not their concern. You know, it's the country, you know, of hosts that, you know, that are in charge of it. But yeah, what can you do? Like, yeah, it's very difficult.
The issue I have with what Gianni Infantino said was, I think in '66 there was issues with North Korea visiting the UK with their visas, and the government were planning to sort of not give approval for the visas, and FIFA stepped in and said, if this doesn't happen, we'll take the World Cup away from you and move it somewhere else. So there is a precedent, you know, albeit a while ago. But I think Infantino's spineless, so it's not something that where, you know,
You can't be shocked.
yeah, it's exactly that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, like, you know, in the build up to this World Cup, there's been a lot of, like, you know, political talk, I guess, but it's nice to actually sit here and have the group stages behind us and just be talking more about football now, right? So let's get into the big stories then. So group stages are done. As we sit here and record, we've had one knockout game last night, which was Canada, South Africa, right? Canada went through. So yeah, we've seen all the group stages. So yeah, let's just cover the biggest stories of the group stages to begin with. We'll obviously come on to England. We'll have our own England section. But yeah, for me, the man behind you there with the shirt, Ash, Lionel Messi, the great one, the GOAT, 6 goals in the group stages, first player to score in 7 consecutive games. What more is there left to say about the great man?
Honestly, like, I thought like he could have a good tournament because it's based in America as well. Obviously, he's playing MLS, but the standard, even though he doesn't like run that much, is just unbelievable. Like people talk about like Harry Kane, like I'd take Harry Kane to like finish for me all day. I'd take Lionel Messi. Like his finishing is just still unreal.
Still got
That
it.
first game, like, just magical finishing. And yeah, it's difficult to put into words like what he's doing. So it looks like they're going to have a good run as well, so they can go all the way.
Yeah, interesting. And like it's come up a bit in the group chat, AJ. I don't think that it was ever a debate, but is the Messi CR7 debate officially nail in the coffin? Don't even mention it.
Yeah. Like you said, it's never been a debate for me. I think it's a Messi Maradona equation. I think we've got his shirt over there.
Trying to plug everyone.
Yeah. Cruyff is in there as well.
Yeah.
But for me, Messi just looks supremely relaxed. Like you said, he's acclimatized to the US. That weight off his shoulder from 2022. If you look at the 2018 World Cup, I think it was against Nigeria, possibly. I think he had a good game, or it might have been Croatia, I can't remember, but I think he had a good game. But during the national anthems, there's footage of him just looking really stressed. You can see the pressure was building up, and that release of pressure might just enable him to play a bit more free. He was rested in the final group game. I know he came on and scored great free kick, but there seems to be a lot less pressure.
It does look like he's really enjoying it, doesn't it?
He looks like he is enjoying it, and for Ronaldo, it looks like he wants it a bit too much, like he's in the way. In Qatar, he got dropped, and that didn't end well. I think the manager lost his job after that, so I don't think Martinez will drop him, even though it's probably best for the team. I just think he totally overshadows. He doesn't complement the team like a Messi would. Messi just complements that Argentina side. I don't think it's a debate, really.
I do think the stick that Cristiano's had though has been like really unfair and unjust. Obviously, some people are going to say he brings it on himself, but
Is that the stick that AJ's been giving him, or just generally?
The issue with that is he can't get out of his own way. He has to realise that he's not the best thing for that team. 2 goals against Uzbekistan. It's not gonna cut the mustard. And then a couple of other blanks as well, where he should have scored in the first group game, missed a few chances, and in the last group game he should have scored as well. So I think he doesn't help himself, but it's not. It's a hindrance to the team. He wants that. World Cup.
we'll be saying this a lot though. There's a difference between like missing chances and should he be in the team versus clipped up memes about him, being like equated to like, jokers, right? This is still one of the
that's disrespectful.
greatest goal
Yeah, of
scorers
course,
and one of the greatest players ever who's won virtually everything bar the World Cup, basically.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's disrespectful, but I feel like his reaction time is off. There's been a couple of chances where he's pulled the trigger too late or too early.
I mean, the guy is 41 years old. To be
Exactly.
fair.
I think the biggest issue is where
that.
he plays. He plays in Saudi, and it is one of the worst like domestic leagues in the world. So if you're preparing for a World Cup, you are going to look slow and out of,
And to be fair, this is maybe where the masterstroke with Messi came in, because obviously he came to the MLS, a year or two ago, and it was always kind of in preparation for that World Cup. So he acclimatized wise.
Yeah, because he's
it's
still
better standard.
playing.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
MLS is better standard
As
as
well,
well.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
got to be, yeah.
But it's also like he feels at home, right? Because one, he's obviously playing in Miami, which is, like second home really for Argentinians. And then, he knows these grounds anyway because he's traveled around. Whereas for Cristiano, like, he just plays in Saudi. So it's totally different. But look, these aren't excuses, right? What AJ says about like his form and, shots, etc. Like it is all true. I just feel like it's a bit too much disrespect. But, when we talk about England, we're probably going to say similar things. We just live in that world now.
Yeah, that's true. But like, I guess the only thing I'd say on the Messi CR7 thing, for me, Messi's the best, better than CR7. But quite clearly, they've pushed each other to get to like this
incredible
level.
standards.
Like, the numbers are just ridiculous. And on the CR7 point, the other thing I would say is, with these genius characters, like we were talking off air with Daniel about Wayne Rooney. Daniel's an Everton fan, and he was saying how good Rooney is. Like, you can't separate the genius from the madman. It's all intertwined, you know. And Ronaldo, he's quite clearly like a narcissistic character, isn't he? Like, it's quite obvious.
Clip that up for views.
Yeah.
You'll get all the CR7 fans. Yeah.
But
You get all
no,
the CR7 fans in your DMs.
yeah, it's fine. All engagement is good engagement, right? But like, yeah, that's quite clear. But that's why he's so good. That's why he's got to that level. So then to use it against him, I used to defend Rooney, right, on the same basis. Rooney would go and do mad crap. You know, like getting in a video of Phil Bardsley on a Saturday night, and people are slagging him off. But yeah, I just think it's like, yeah, you can't criticize it too much because it's
I don't
part
think
of the
you
character.
can. You know, it's not like Cristiano is the first super arrogant sports star, right? Like you look through history, whether it's in our sport or, you know, basketball. You know, I know AJ doesn't like American sports, but, you know, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, these guys are all the same. Messi is massively demanding. He just does it in a different way. Sir Alex Ferguson in terms of managers, right? So like, you got to have arrogance.
Tiger Woods won't quit golf. He's got a broken back and can barely walk, but he'll still carry on playing.
Tiger,
And Ronaldo is up there. Like he's at that level.
Lewis Hamilton, Michael Schumacher, Formula One race, and they've all got massive egos, character, and that's what takes you to the next level, right? That's why you win multi trophies and championships.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll come on to like Argentina's potential route towards the final because it's looking pretty good. But the next area I want to go to is the USA, the hosts, Pochettino, the guy I wanted at United for so long, and they wouldn't give it to me. Yeah, they qualified top, 2 wins. To be fair, in their group was Australia, Paraguay and Turkey, but their first game, 4-1 win against Paraguay to get things going. Really good performance. They then beat Australia 2-0. And then they did lose their last game 3-2 against Turkey, but then
in the last minute as well.
Yeah, they're unlucky as well.
And they'd already qualified, so there's that whole jeopardy thing. But yeah, what do you think about USA's performance, Ash?
I'm surprised, I've got to say. Like, I didn't expect the football that we're seeing from them is the football that, well, we wanted at United with Pochettino if he had come, but he's basically replicating the Tottenham 2017-18 team, like high pressing, full of energy, and obviously he's getting the results. So he's done really well. Like I said, he surprised me because the lead up to the tournament wasn't great, like not very good results and performances in the friendlies. So yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised, and I'd say that first game was definitely one of the best performances I've seen in the World Cup so far.
Do you think with the fact that they were automatically given a place as co-hosts, that might have just taken the edge off the competitive?
You're right. You see that a lot with host teams, like too many friendlies, and he's been able to like get the team to switch on, which is obviously good for them.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I forget that you basically get, you know, a buy into the tournament, right? I guess with the USA as well, like they've been trying to build up soccer, as they call it, for a few years, right? And you know, getting Messi over there into Miami are doing pretty big stuff with Brand Beckham, etc. Like, yeah, AJ, do you think this World Cup can, elevate soccer or football in that country?
They tried it in '94, but with this World Cup, they've obviously done a few different things. Obviously, the standard football is a lot better, but as we mentioned before, the hydration breaks or the 4 quarters might just get the imagination. And like you said, with what Miami doing, bringing so much attention into Miami, with Beckham and Busquets, Suarez, Alba, all those guys, and obviously Messi.
Yeah,
the amount of attention that the game of football is getting over there, I think this is their best shot at it sticking. It's obviously going to take more time, and it didn't really work after '94. So, yeah, I'm sure there'll be a bit more of a more of an
increase.
Yeah.
I guess the interesting thing, maybe possibly the difference with '94, you were telling me the other day you're looking into an Apple TV, and I think, do Apple TV have the rights to the MLS? But Messi's contract has a revenue share, I believe.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I think there's a revenue share with Apple TV streaming all the MLS games. It just shows the power of Messi. I don't have the figures, but I'm sure it's in the hundreds of millions. And Messi's cut off that, to be able to negotiate that just shows the power of a brand, really. And And I think with Inter Miami sort of bringing that level over to the MLS and eyeballs on that team, I think it can only mean good things for football or soccer.
Yeah.
Going forward over there.
It's their best chance, isn't it, at growing the game, Ash, I guess, like now.
I mean, you know, you're never going to be able to get soccer to be bigger than NFL and basketball. But, you know, can it be like the third or fourth, like most popular sport? Yes. You know, a lot of kids do play it at school in America. I've actually heard like different interviews or even documentaries back in the past about the fact, you know, better funding needs to happen because always there's going to be the emphasis on American sports, baseball as well, right? I should have mentioned. But yeah, like it's got to be doing, you know, big things this World Cup. Yeah, you got a young, you know, demographic around the world that is going to be eyeballing this World Cup. Loads of ways to watch football than ever before with social media. So yeah, I think it will be a positive in that sense, for, you know, for
Yeah.
America.
We'll see how it goes. Ash, been impressed with France so far?
Yeah, they're looking really strong. I always say, actually, like, I don't know, since like the 2010 World Cup, when someone says to me, who are the favourites, like pre-tournament, I normally go France. You know, when we were talking to Carl, I said that as well. But obviously, I went for a different team this time. But yeah, they've looked really strong. Mbappe started on fire, which is good for the tournament. You want the superstars to be like, you know, kicking off. And yeah, they're going to be like a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. I think there's no surprise there.
It's not just Mbappe though, is it?
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
Dembele.
Yeah.
It's all of them, yeah.
It's the whole lot. The issue I have with France, the midfield, I think the midfield's really lacking something. So previously they've had players like Matuidi, Kante, Pogba's been great in there. I think a Rabiot, Tchouaméni. I just don't think it cuts the mustard, and I think they might struggle against a Spain or an England. You know, if they can hold in midfield, I should stress, if they can hold that midfield area.
I think they're all right because, you know, World Cup tempo
Is that because United are linked with Tchouaméni? Is that why?
Oh, obviously, yeah. But no, I do think like World Cup is different in terms of the way you play stylistically. Yeah, they're not the biggest progressors of the ball, like Tchouaméni in particular, but like, you know, you just need to get the ball to like people like Elise, and that's their job done, right? They don't need to play like intricate passing, like, you know, Spain's style of football.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Spain, I want to come to their group next. So Group H, Spain qualified top with 7 points. They dropped 2 points against Cape Verde in the first game, 0-0. I think a lot of people watched that. Obviously, Uruguay finished third and didn't get through there. So yeah, Spain, I guess, picked up in their second and third game. But yeah, big story really is Cape Verde getting through that group, AJ.
And this is sort of what we want to see from a 48-team World Cup. And I think this is what FIFA, you know, for all their faults, want in the finals. You know, they want the smaller nations, quote unquote, to sort of progress and do well and bring the standard up for themselves. And did anyone really expect Cape Verde to progress in that group? Not really. Yeah. And the fact they have done is superb. You know, in that first game against Spain, you know, the keeper was absolutely superb. Yeah. I think his follower count went from 50,000 to over 3 million or over 4 million.
More now, yeah. Like 15 odd. Yeah, 15 million odd.
It's absolutely fantastic. And I think there was issues with his mum coming over with visas and all that sort of stuff, and that's been resolved. So it's a great story. I'm not sure who they've got in the next round.
Yeah, come on to that Cape Verde. It's a good show, actually. Argentina.
Oh, so Messi's going out.
Yeah. So it's been a great run for Argentina.
The fact that they're going to play on the pitch with Messi.
Exactly. And not just Messi, you know, Argentina got a full the current champion, so they've got a full squad of superstars, but it's fantastic for Cape Verde. I think for football generally, there's a few other nations who have done really well, but yeah, we all expected Uruguay not to go through and not to implode. But yeah, with Bielsa, Valverde, I think the keeper Muslera, they were having issues with him. Yeah. I think that was a bit of a shock, really, for me, to be honest, Ash. I think with Uruguay,
like Bielsa, like hotly tipped to be a really good manager in this tournament, but yeah, they just haven't fired. Like, you know, they haven't got their pressing right, and you know, they don't have a finisher. Like, yeah, they're missing like a Suarez of like, I guess like
Cavani,
2010.
yeah.
That kind of like form. Was it Darwin Nunez? They
Darwin Núñez in
can't even play
Saudi.
in Saudi.
Yeah,
But
it's exactly that.
Cristiano, he plays. See?
Yeah. I think with Uruguay, I think it's just been an absolute mess, really, with them, top to bottom. I think it's been civil war, basically. This is France 2010 sort of levels, really. Shame, really, but it's worked well for Cape Verde. Probably for the tournament, see a smaller nation like Cape Verde. I think a population of 600,000. So yeah, superb, really.
Ash, Go Play Sports, new mobile app on the market. I heard they've just launched a new feature where you can collect payments within the app now. So just to quickly explain, we've both organised many football groups over the years, 5-a-side, 7-a-side, absolute nightmare in WhatsApp, right?
Yeah, absolute nightmare collecting payments from people, trying to track attendance with loads of messages in there.
Yeah, so this app, obviously, you can track who's playing, but now, as a manager, you can actually collect payments. Yes, Ash, you tried the app the other day as a player, right? And you made a payment. So how was that?
Yeah, it was smooth. Notification came through, easy navigation.
Yes, instead of having to do like 10 clicks on a bank transfer payment, was it Apple Pay, like one click?
Yeah, one click and just payment goes straight through, get a notification. The status changes as well to paid. So all within seconds.
Amazing. Yeah, and as a manager, I just saw that payment come through and it just says Ash is playing, tick. So yeah, compared to the WhatsApp group, absolute game changer.
Yeah, that's what I needed 10 years ago when I was running football matches all the time. So
and lots of features coming soon, like picking your teams. It's only going to get bigger and better.
yeah, Go Play Sports is where it's at.
So download the app. Right, boys, the meaty stuff. England. So we watched the third group game, round AJ's on Saturday. By the way, excellent chicken wings, lamb chops,
Fantastic
burgers.
barbecue.
Ash, best barbecue ever?
One of the best.
Oh,
One
not,
of the
not
best.
quite number one yet. The rain screwed us over though, didn't
Well, I was
it?
about to say, like, AJ promised no rain, even though there was 30% forecast. It's like no chance. But Berry came through.
I've checked AccuWeather.
Yeah. Berry came through. It was a good day. Yeah.
And yeah, pretty straightforward win for England. It looked on paper, I think it was a bit of a dodgy performance, but we can come on to it. But yeah, just looking at the group, 7 points, 2 wins, 1 draw, obviously for England, qualified top. What's the big fuss about, Ash? I saw the Daily Mail losing their heads.
It's not like the Daily Mail to lose their heads about an England performance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you make of it? Like, you know, we didn't win all 3 games, but we've qualified top. Job done?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you don't play your best football at the group stage. It's just a case of like qualifying and ideally top. We've done that. We've scored more goals than probably other tournaments, you know, previous. I think back to when we got to the Euro final in 21. We scored 2 goals in the groups, and you know that caused a massive stinker, you know, with Southgate in charge. So yeah, of course you want to win, you know, all the games, but you know, World Cup is difficult. England have a history of drawing the first or second game as well.
Yeah, just on that, I think they have the record for most amount of 0-0s in a World Cup. I think it's like 13 or something. So it's heritage right there, the 0-0s.
My first England tournament, Euro 96, which was 30 years ago, like, you know, football's coming home, Wembley against Switzerland. We're going to win 4-1. We've got Shearer and Sheringham up front, draw 1-1. So, you know, it's a pattern. But, you know, we obviously started with an entertaining game against Croatia, 4-2. Yeah, exactly. And
yeah,
then,
I want to touch on that Croatia game. So like, yeah, going into that game, you know, difficult game on paper. I don't think really anyone expected it to play out like it did. So yeah, what was your thoughts on that first performance, AJ?
Yeah, didn't expect it from Croatia to sort of attack so much. My thoughts were, I probably still think this is they're a little bit over the hill. Just one tournament too far, possibly to go deep.
Modric is like 40 odd, isn't he?
Yeah, and
came off after 55 minutes.
Yeah, and that's a real team play, unlike Ronaldo. But yeah, I mean, sort of jokes aside, I didn't expect the back and forth really between them. And England came out on top. I think they have the better players, so you sort of expect that. And then in the Ghana game, the 0-0 you were mentioning, Ash, it was against a team that didn't really attack too much, and it was against a tactician who knows exactly what he's doing. You guys know him as well as anyone at United. He knows how to set up a team.
Yeah.
And they're obviously not bad players, these Ghana boys.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Should have had a penalty.
yeah, and that was a shocking decision. It's a bit of a brain fade, wasn't it? But you can't worry about that too much. It was definitely an overreaction. The Croatia game was great. It shows we can score goals. Bellingham, I thought, was fantastic. Rashford was really good when he came on.
Madueke was pretty good in that first game.
Yeah, Madueke was really good. And I think in the game on Saturday against Panama, you got the job done, and that's all the World Cup's for. And then we'll play DR Congo in the next round, and then we'll see what we're made of there.
Even if England get to quarters, semi-final, do you think anyone's going to remember that Ghana performance as an example, right? Like, you're there to do your job, as Roy Keane would say, and then you just move on. So yeah, it's all systems go for Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll come on to the knockouts, but just want to touch on again the narrative. So like, yeah, following that Croatia game, obviously going in at half time was 2-2. I think we let the lead slip twice, right? And then there's been a lot of talk about Tuchel's halftime team talk. I don't know what he did there, but the players seem mesmerised over like his team talk.
Yeah, they came out all guns blazing, weren't they? After that team talk, and he's an elite level manager. I think people are sort of missing that. He knows what he's doing. You know, he's won the Champions League. He's got to the Champions League final. He's gone deep in European competitions. Won leagues across Europe. He really is an elite level manager. So yeah, I don't think it should surprise anyone that he can tweak things at halftime, during the game, during these hydration breaks. He knows exactly what he's doing, and it seems like he's picked a good group of players, I think, who will follow instruction. Yeah, and I think that might have rubbed some people up the wrong way, dropping or leaving out Foden and Palmer, but he's seen these lads for a while now. He knows exactly what he's looking for, and even in defence, you know, he left out Gay for the first, or Mark Gay in the first game. There'll have been a reason for that. I don't think he's a vibesman like a Southgate or a Ancelotti or someone like that. I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
He makes big calls, so he'll make big decisions throughout the tournament. I think one interesting thing from the Croatia game in particular was the assistant, you know, doing that interview at halftime with ITV, and then Tuchel like reinforced the point afterwards about going short when we should go long, and long when we should go short. So that's obviously something that's, you know, drilled into these boys in terms of they need to do this. And what was interesting, what Tuchel in particular said about the performance first half against Croatia, was that when we took the lead, we sat back too much. And I think that's an indirect comment about how we basically played under Southgate. And that was one of the big criticisms that, you know, Southgate got, was when we go 1 or 2 up, we'd put the handbrake on and, you know, sit deep and just, you know, like invite teams on, whereas Tuchel wants front foot. So we saw that in the first game, but, you know, depending on the opposition, if you get a Ghana or even at Panama where it took, you know, 60 odd 70 minutes to get the first goal, we're going to have that problem anyway. So it all depends on, you know, who we play. And I think Tuchel is the type of manager who's got a plan, you know, for different, you know, type of teams.
Yeah, and I think like the thing with Tuchel, I kind of picked up on it from what Kane said and Declan Rice said post-match after Croatia. So the team talk obviously came up, and yeah, I think you're right, Ash. There was a mini dig at Southgate, because I think basically Tuchel kind of said, we're sitting back too much. We're protecting the lead. We're not confident. And it seems like he said, lads, you know, you're better than them. Just go for it type thing. And I don't think Southgate's that type of manager. So like, I think that's where you kind of see the, like you said, Tuchel's experience. And I think Declan, I remember watching the Declan interview, and he was almost like, oh yeah, this Tuchel, he gave us the confidence. And I think as a player, knowing that your manager's been at the very elite, it does have an influence, right, on how you feel.
And and they are good players.
Yeah.
Like you said, Tuchel will have reminded them, you're probably you're better than the Croatia players. You know, to a man, you'd say probably or possibly at least. So I think he's given them the confidence, like you said, the experience of going deep in these Champions Leagues and, you know, winning trophies across Europe. He knows exactly what he's doing, and I think these are players who play for, you know, Premier League title winning teams over the last sort of 5 or 6 years. Some of them will have won Champions Leagues. So they're used to elite level managers and elite level standards, and I think Tuchel's brought that in definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like, again, we've seen this over many years, the way the media react to England games and performances. But even just had TalkSport on for like 20 minutes last night, and I'm listening to Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy like saying, you know, he should be playing. England fans love doing it as well. But then I was watching again just the post-match reaction from the Panama game, just the interview of the players. We had it on Ash, didn't we? And Henderson came on, and obviously Henderson's been a very controversial pick to be on the plane. Obviously, a lot of players have been left behind. You touched on them, AJ. But yeah, I think, again, you touched on this, AJ. Like, Tuchel's obviously sat down and thought about what mix of characters and players do I need on this plane. And like, just listening to Henderson, I'm not his biggest fan because I'm a United fan, but I can sit there and say he won the Champions League, he won the Premier League after 30 years with Liverpool, he captained them, he's obviously a leader. Tuchel has identified Henderson as the leader of that group, essentially. We did a pod earlier in the season, me, Harry and James, and we said Henderson would be making sure everyone's in bed on time and stuff like that. So like,
you said that, Harry or James?
James, that was, yeah. So like, you do need the mix of squad, right? It's not just about talent on the pitch, right?
Yeah, and I think the Maguire situation and call, I think that brings it to a head, right? So before the squad was announced, it leaked that Maguire was not on the plane, and he puts out a statement, and it came across really badly. I think his mum got involved, and I think maybe his brothers or whatever, his family got involved, didn't they? And it just showed a real lack of maturity. Then he ended up doing a podcast with Gary Lineker on The Rest is Football, and I sent it to you straight away, saying this is a terrible listen. He just came across really badly. And what happened? A defender got injured, and there was an opportunity for someone like him to be called up, and he went with Trevor Chalobah from Chelsea. So it showed the character of Maguire and what Thomas Tuchel was looking for in terms of the right characters and the right mix of characters. And in my opinion, he's been vindicated not taking Maguire.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing that Maguire got wrong, was the fact that by putting that statement out, even before the squad was like officially announced, is that, yeah, if there was an injury, he's out of the reckoning because like he's seen as a troublemaker. I mean, there is an Athletic article about the fact that they just fought with Maguire because he's played obviously so regularly for England, especially in these big tournaments. If he's on the bench, is that going to be a positive or, you know, thing for the squad, like, you know, for the morale of the squad? And yeah, Thomas Tuchel's made the decision that it's not going to be. You have to respect that. I'd say the other important thing with the way he's picked the squad, I don't necessarily agree with it, but this is his rationale, is that he's going with power and physicality. So Harry Maguire defending one-on-one against, for example, the Ghana boys, he would have been absolutely ripped apart in that second half, like with all that space that, you know, England gave, like behind the defence. You know, when you have Konsa or Gay, you can play one-on-one defending. So
yeah, good point.
From a tactical perspective, like, I did see where Tuchel was coming from. I still would have picked Maguire, but I do understand his rationale. And he's done that with, you know, the attacking positions as well, right? You know, Madueke, he's more of a runner. Anthony Gordon, he's more of a runner. You know, the intricate skills of, like, yeah, you said it earlier,
Palmer,
Foden, Palmer. I would have taken Palmer. You know, I still think he's got enough in his locker, even with the season he had. Foden, I do understand why he didn't make it.
Going back a few years as well, like, England fans have always kind of had a problem with players getting picked on name, and Foden, Palmer and Trent haven't had good seasons, have they?
The Trent one was a bigger surprise for me.
Was it though, with Thomas Tuchel?
I think with Reece James, his injury record, and I think people, Chelsea fans have said, it's not as bad as you think.
And he's injured now, isn't he?
You always feel like he's not far off another injury.
Tuchel likes warriors though. Like, when we were debating, should Tuchel come to United after Ten Hag, I'm of the opinion, no. Yes, he's a winner, but he loves these dog players. Like, he was at Bayern Munich and he signed Eric Dyer from Spurs. Like, he goes for warriors or like monster mentality players like Jordan Henderson, right? Kobe Mainoo's not even kicked a ball this tournament.
Yeah, and I think what you were saying in terms of he has a theory and a logic and an idea of how he wants to play.
Yeah.
Trent Alexander-Arnold doesn't fit into that.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
He wasn't. Is Trent a better right back than Jed Spence? Of course he is. Like, it's not even a debate, but he doesn't fit into the logic and idea on how Thomas Tuchel thinks he can win the World Cup. So what happens? Jed Spence will play.
And that is a right back who played for one of the worst teams in England this season, right? In Tottenham.
Could have been relegated, yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So, like, he goes with these, like, soldier-type players. And, this... So when people are surprised, like a Palmer, for example, who's probably more 50-50 in terms of whether he gets in or not, yeah, you can't be surprised. But yeah, this is what we ask for as well. We ask for a manager or a coach that makes big calls where it's going to upset fans, players.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what he's done. Like, one line I would like to mention again in that, when he talked about the Croatia game, in that we sat back, he used a really important line, and let's see if it comes back, in the future. He said, we're protecting something that we don't have. And I think the don't have part is what we've been doing for probably all of Southgate's tenure, right? And that's not a dig, right? It's just how it played out.
It is, yeah.
So to have a manager then who then says, like, actually, guys, just go for it. It was refreshing, right? And okay, we won. That's why, it's okay. Always say this, right, Steve? If you win, you look like a genius. Everything's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think, what did people expect? We got Tuchel in to try and get us over the line.
Exactly.
We've qualified top. It's a job done in the group stages. Now the knockouts are where we'll really find out.
Business end. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And that's what we're getting into now. I just quickly want to touch on an area before we talk knockouts. I personally think this tournament, and it probably started with the squad announcement when Maguire was dropped and, the PR started coming in and out. And you've got United fans going crazy. Oh, why is Maguire not in the squad? And yes, Maguire's had a good season. He's played 30 games. Well done. Big pat on the back, Luke Shaw. Yes, United finished third. We got in the Champions League after finishing 15th last season. We got knocked out of both domestic cups this season. So my point is, yes, they've had good seasons, but it's not like Messi levels or Ronaldo levels.
Yeah, you didn't win trophies.
Yeah, exactly.
Shaw and Maguire didn't win trophies.
Big important point as well. Maguire, to an extent anyway, like, this is why I kind of got Tuchel's rationing. He's had his time.
Yeah.
How many World Cups? 2018 and 22. 1 Euro because he was injured for 24. So he's done well to even have that, career in terms of England and those major tournaments. So what is he going to be, 33?
Yeah, something like that.
He's had his time.
That's what I mean. And maybe Tuchel looks at him as an early man. He was part of the squad that just kept missing out.
A big part of the squad.
Yeah,
exactly. A big part of the squad,
there's these decisions that come into it. And then again, the reaction of United fans, I just thought it was well over the top. Like, me personally, I would have taken Maguire. I would have taken Foden. Sorry, I would have taken Palmer. I probably would have taken Foden. I would have taken Trent for sure.
I would have taken Luke Shaw.
Yeah, maybe.
But I understand the rationale of what Tuchel's done.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
My point is, personally, I would have taken 4 or 5 players different. However, we were at Wembley in 2021 when we lost the Euro final.
Don't remind me, Steve.
Yeah, but and obviously the final against Spain 2 years ago, we've been getting that close. The clamour for a world-class manager was there. We've got him.
Let him make his decision.
Let him make his decisions.
You have to make changes.
And back him, yeah.
What did you think of the interview with Maguire on The Rest is Football?
I'll be honest, I've not even listened because I was so pissed off with his reaction on social media.
You was. I remember, yeah.
I didn't even want to listen to The Rest is Football.
Yeah, it's worth a listen.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll give it a listen.
He came across really petty. There's a few points he says where he gives it the big I am, sort of saying he had a few
Yeah,
words with Tuchel.
the clip I saw is,
Oh, I saw that.
I
yeah.
have a big personality.
Yeah. He literally says I have a big personality, and
And do you know what?
He's
I think
terrible.
it's a bigger personality that he has for England than even for United, because you got big personalities like Bruno Fernandes.
I didn't see
right?
the big personality when we finished 15th last season.
Well, that's for another day. Our preview episode, right, for United. But I get it. Like, I can understand the rationale of not picking Maguire. Like, I talked about the physicality side, right? One-on-one defending. It's never been his thing. So if you are going to play like a more attacking game, he's going to get caught out. So what do you want? Like, do you want him to look embarrassed and then the Daily Mail have a go at him for that? So maybe Tuchel's done him a favour in that sense. But yeah, I mean, that line that obviously AJ's said about, it's like, well, yeah, if that's the type of stuff he's going to say, maybe it's not good for this, current squad.
Yeah. And then, my wider point to that was the way United fans reacted. Like, let's not forget, Ash, we're season ticket holders at United. There's a flag in Old Trafford that says United over England. So they prioritise club over country. So if you care so much about United, you should be happy he's not on the plane, because he's going to be fit for United next season. But then this goes to my wider point. I don't think it's only United. And we've always seen this, right? Like, we're all club fans, day to day. And England is a tournament every 2 years. You try and come together. And this is the thing that I think Southgate probably didn't get enough credit for, was like the unity. Like 2021 was obviously post-COVID. The England team had been building 2018 semi-final World Cup. And then obviously the Euros in our home nation. Obviously it happened in 2021, but it was Euro 2020. The feeling of the country, like at that point, having come through like a difficult few years of COVID, just outside of football, I think what Southgate done, the new group of players, like, we've always heard back in the day with like, the Rio John Terry, that era, they've always said they weren't a team. They were, they'd come from their club sides. Yeah, and they had their rivalry and they couldn't get over it. It's basically come out now. Whereas the Southgate team, they were a group of players like,
they're all mates.
Yeah, they're all mates.
They're all
Declan
mates.
Rice,
Yeah,
all
they
these
grew
guys.
up through the England ranks, and
so we
stayed
saw
mates.
that, and it was refreshing at the time, right? Because we've seen a lot of heartache with England over the years. But I actually think the fan base now are reflecting what the players were like back in that golden generation era. We're all too focused on our clubs. Like, I want Kobbie Mainoo to be in the team, but can I really argue with Declan Rice, for me, one of the best midfielders in the world? Elliot Anderson is going to Man City for 100 million. Yes, Kobbie could have got a few minutes, but I don't care about Kobbie. I want England to bring a trophy home.
Yeah.
And we've got Thomas Tuchel, one of the best managers in the world. We've got a great squad that have been climbing and climbing and climbing. So forget the club allegiances. Like, I'm sick of like this whole, Chelsea fans are obviously upset, Palmer didn't get in, which I understand, but just get behind the boys. That's what I'm saying now. It's knockout time.
I think what's interesting also is that, this is a tournament where you got all sorts of social media platforms, WhatsApp. I think that's a huge difference from like previous tournaments. Like, you got loads of groups, including our.
I think that's what Huss is saying, right? Back in the day, in 04, 06, the squad itself was fractured, and generally the country was behind the team.
But I think
Whereas
you hear
now
more,
it's probably the other way
it
around.
feels like it switched. Yeah,
but I
Because
feel
of
like
social
it's
media.
more noise. Yeah, like there's more noise around it, and that's because of all the platforms that we've got to like air your views, even as a fan. But yeah, like for me, I'm not offended by like these performances, right? Because I'm thinking about the wider goal. First win, and then we'll worry about that stuff later, right? Because that's what happens. Like, do you think other national teams don't like criticize performances, even if they've won like 3-0? Like, put on the Brazil shirt, the Argentinian shirt, the Italian shirt, right? They can't even get to the World Cup at the moment, and they've won it 4 times.
No, that's a fair point. I think the scrutiny is not new, right? But I just think like, let's look at the players we've got, right? We've got Harry Kane, the best striker in the world, probably. We've got Jude Bellingham, who is starting to fire in this World Cup.
I want to touch on that, right? Because like, you're talking about the fans. I still think the traditional media, like, they play a massive like negative role in all of this, right? Because, we're going to win the World Cup basically after
the traditional
media.
media.
You know who they are, right? I don't need to. I don't want to give them that platform. But after Croatia, we're winning the World Cup, no doubt. After Ghana, it's like, it's the Southgate vibes, right? So, well, what are we doing? Why didn't we bring this player, etc.? So, I think that, you know, going back to Jude, it's like they were making such a big narrative about Jude versus Morgan Rogers. Look, Morgan Rogers has had like 2-3 fantastic seasons at Aston Villa, but please, like Jude Bellingham is world class, who comes up with world class moments. Like, don't disrespect the guy and be like, oh, it's a battle between them. I know Tuchel has said, you know, oh, like Jude's got to fight for his place, and Morgan Rogers played more in the qualifiers. But this is, you know, this is what happens. The big players, they stand up,
elite
right?
level football.
Yeah,
And
this guy plays for Real Madrid.
Yeah, he's won Champions League for Real Madrid.
And we're questioning him in terms of like, oh, you know, like, should he be playing in this 11? Of course he should. He's the second best player, or arguably the best player, right? With Harry Kane.
Big moment.
We're only going to win the World Cup with either Kane or Jude.
And I think the third person I'd put into that mix is Declan Rice.
Yeah.
For me, it's not a spine because it doesn't go all the way to the back, but my hopes are in Kane, Bellingham and Rice as like stalwarts in that team, right? Obviously Declan, what he did for Arsenal, like...
Yeah, he's unbelievable. I was saying to you the other day at the barbecue, we've had him 3 seasons, or 3 full seasons. I still pinch myself we've got him. He's that good. You watch him week in, week out for Arsenal, and he's never less than a 7 out of 10. Like, he's fantastic, and you'll see that with him for England, and we've seen it in the past. He is that sort of stalwart. He can do it all. 1 minute he'll be defended, the next he'll be sort of setting up an attack or getting an intricate pass in. Obviously,
taking a corner.
His corners are fantastic. His free kicks,
set pieces are all right, by the way. When it's
when it's England, we're okay with set pieces. But yeah, Declan Rice is fantastic, and he links well with Bellingham, who links well with Kane. So it works really well, I think, for England.
Interesting point on Declan. Really surprised he gave it away after the Croatia game about like his hamstring concerns that he's had actually for about 6 months. He was saying, like, obviously with Arsenal as well. I kind of thought interesting time to reveal that, because like obviously he's kept it under wraps during the season with Arsenal. But you know, Steve, right? I wanted to buy Declan Rice when he was available at West Ham. So yeah, that's the type of honest personality that Declan Rice is, to reveal that information. So obviously he's got issues that he's carrying as well. So that has to be managed. I think there's a couple of the midfielders, like even Elliot Anderson, you know, he had a big season with Forest in terms of games, having played Europe as well. So these guys, I think this is the wider point, like people need to realise, whether it's media or fans, like a lot of these players have played like 60 games. They're carrying, you know, muscle injuries or tightness. You know, they'll be taking like injections to mask this pain to get through this tournament. And it's a longer tournament, right? Because it's an expanded World Cup.
Right, boys. Knockout stages now. Okay, so we are in the knockout stages. Mentioned it before. We've already had a game. There's games playing tonight as well. So by the time this comes out, hopefully soon, you know, there could have been a few more games. So let's start with England, because that's where we just left off. So we're playing DR Congo. In the next round on Wednesday at 5 p.m. So make sure, if you know those are people at work, get a little calendar appointment in your Outlook, that half an hour slot. You could put doctor's appointment, you know, with the DR.
You could take the day off.
Yeah. Just make sure.
Or the week.
Yeah.
Or the month.
Make sure you're available. But yeah, 5 p.m. Congo. AJ, you'd hope we'd get through without too many dramas.
Yeah, you'd hope so, but you know, we've been there before with tough games. Iceland, I think you boys were there, weren't you, for the Iceland game?
No, well, so just there was on the weekend, it was 10 years to the day when England got knocked out. We were meant to be at the next game, which would have been France v England, but ended up being France v Iceland.
See, you can't eat your chickens too early, right?
Basically, yeah. So, but it's happened before.
Yeah. You can't take anything for granted, but you'd expect an England side with the quality that we've sort of mentioned, Kane and Bellingham and those guys, Rice, you know, to be too good for DR Congo. So, yeah, that's the hope really, and then it's one of the big boys.
Yeah, exactly. So just quickly on DR Congo. Actually, been doing a bit of research. A few players that we might recognise in DR Congo's team.
Yeah, a bit of Manchester United in there. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, obviously, he's been playing at fullback, and yeah, one of the big United hopes for a while, but obviously never materialised in Axel Tuanzebe. Do you remember like when he break through. Like, people were really excited. He's obviously a boy from Manny as well, so that they were thinking he could become like United captain. But yeah, he's obviously at the back, and obviously Wisser up front, from Newcastle.
Yeah, so like, it's one of them, isn't it? If they sit back against us, could be one of those where they're hard to break down, but you'd hope we have the quality to come through. So fingers crossed that goes all right. Wednesday, 5 p.m. And then it gets seriously tasty. So if we get through against Congo, our next game will be in Mexico City at the Azteca, July the 5th. So that's the Monday. It's going to be at 1 a.m. So Sunday night / Monday morning, 1 a.m. jobby.
So when should we put the meeting invite?
Well, you'll be all right work-wise, but you might want to block out your Monday morning to lie in, because if it goes to extra time and penalties, you could be talking about a 4 a.m. jobby there. So
can you imagine the country? Ooh.
Well, this is why we need to come together. I know it's going to be 1 a.m. on a Sunday night, but the interesting thing is who we could be playing in Mexico at the Azteca, and that is, of course, Mexico or Ecuador.
Mexico in Mexico, jeez, that would be some.
Or Ecuador, but Mexico.
No, but that's some game. Like Mexico, like, it would be just incredible. Like, that'll be like one of the highlights of like probably like your England fanship, right?
Yeah, I'm just looking for, like, not looking past DR Congo, but I think I just got like a shiver of goosebumps there. Like, playing Mexico in Mexico City at the Azteca. That's like, yeah, that's biblical stuff, in it. So
I think Gio spoke about it on the last pod, right? Like, he's been there, and when he said that, I was like, I absolutely rate him for that. And then I'm like, I've got to go. I've got to go. Yeah. So I might be hopefully trying to do that after Wednesday. Try and get a booking.
But yeah, it's going to be a tough game. Obviously, again, let's not look past Ecuador, because Mexico have got to beat Ecuador. But Mexico won all 3 games in the group stages.
They look good as well. Yeah.
Good,
Yeah. So yeah, just occasion-wise, win or lose.
That's what the World Cup's all about. Like, you say, okay, yeah, all respect to DR Congo and Ecuador, but England versus Mexico at the Azteca, that's the World Cup.
Yeah.
Right?
Heritage.
Yeah. So yeah, just looking forward to that potentially, obviously hoping those results go that way. I mean, I'd take Ecuador, to be honest, but Mexico more likely to get through. And then, yeah, looking into the next round.
Oh, you're going that fast, Steve?
Just on our just on our side of the draw, if we were to beat Mexico at the Azteca, imagine the feeling of the country that week. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm trying to manifest it into the universe, into the country.
That celebration at 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's what I mean, because no one's going to be out at that time. We're going to be together on WhatsApp complaining about whoever's playing, he should be playing, but just get over the line.
Yeah.
Penalty shootouts, whatever. This is where you need your Tommy Tuchel.
Genius.
Yeah, that's where you need.
Bringing on Ivan Toney for penalties.
yeah, exactly. Whatever you need to do, this is where you just need to get over the line, right? So yeah, if we do get through, or obviously Mexico get through, all the other teams, the next game would be a quarterfinal in Miami, likely, again, not ruling out teams, but Brazil.
Yeah, I've just got PTSD from watching them in 2002. Going to primary school. Yeah. That was the quarterfinal as well.
Was
I think.
It? Yeah,
I think it was.
Ronaldinho free kick.
And that was in like Korea, Japan, that World Cup. So I still remember, it was like, I don't know, 10, 11 a.m. in the morning watching. Oh, it might have been earlier, actually. Because it was during the day, in Asia, that was. So yeah, that would have been like 7, 8, 9 o'clock.
I remember watching it going into primary school early to watch the England game.
It was the goalkeeper that day for England.
Dave Seaman, yeah.
Who did he play for?
I think he did play for City at one point.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You're having to go at Seaman for that goal. We won't get into that. But yeah, it could be Brazil in Miami. Just to touch on Brazil's side, in terms of their games, Brazil are playing Japan in the first knockout game. And then the other side in that draw is Ivory Coast and Norway. So you'd expect Brazil probably to beat Japan. And then, Norway have looked pretty good.
I was going to say, Haaland might have a say in this.
Yeah, possibly. Ivory Coast, you were talking about pre-pod as well.
Yeah, I think it's the first time they've been through to the knockout round. And if you look at the legends of the game that have played for them, Drogba, the Toure brothers, they've had some really, really good players. And it's a bit of a surprise, but I think they've been unlucky in previous years. But again, with the expanded tournament, you've got a bit more of a chance with... going through with the players that you've got. So yeah, great for them, great for African football.
Yep.
I think fantastic.
Yeah, and on African football, Ash, is it 9 out of the 10 African teams have got into the knockout stages?
Yeah, and not to big up FIFA too much, this is one of the benefits of having a bigger tournament. Like, you give like opportunities for countries that have not traditionally made it, and it's fantastic to show that 9 additional teams, all from Africa, have been able to qualify. So fingers crossed for some like interesting and tasty quarterfinals even.
Yeah, and any excuse to have a go at Jamie Carragher, but he had a pop at the quality of African football. So.
Exactly. Bastian Schweinsteiger the other day, having a pop at Ghana. So yeah, this is great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that side of the draw. So potentially, I'm not going to say Max, I'm going to say potentially England, Brazil in Miami on Saturday, July 11th, Saturday 10 p.m.
Oh, that's perfect timing.
So if you've got a pub, then yeah.
Or get the barbecue open.
Oh, yeah.
Get the
Yeah,
barbecue
good
going. You coming around again?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that would be the quarterfinal. And then just looking at, again, staying on the side of the draw that would meet us possibly in the semis, Argentina, I think they've had a little bit of luck here. So just quickly reel off the fixtures on this side of the draw. So you've got Argentina, Cape Verde, as we mentioned before, Australia, Egypt, Switzerland, Algeria, and Colombia, Ghana. So those are the 8 teams on that side of the draw. So you'd think Argentina are looking pretty good there, aren't you?
They're definite favourites to be able to get to the semi-finals. There's some good teams in there with some star players, but with Messi in this form as well. Yeah.
So yeah, that's incredible. So obviously when England beat Brazil on that Saturday night, and get to the semis, they're going to be meeting Messi, Argentina. I think, did we have a look, Ash? Is it Atlanta?
Yes.
Yeah. So that game, semi-final, possibly England, Argentina. This is what we're talking about for the World Cup, right?
And revenge for 1986.
Let's hope so. And then, quick look at the other side.
And 98.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good point.
Doing it for David Beckham.
He'll be there.
Other side of the draw. So you got, the other top European teams like France, Germany, Portugal, Spain, USA in that side, Belgium. So we won't go through the routes, but some good sides on that side, right?
Teams, yeah.
Pochettino potentially getting a quarter-final. That will
that'd be fantastic for them.
That will help. That will make Jay smile.
Yeah, that'd be funny. On that side of the draw, favourites probably France, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got Portugal, Spain, Belgium, USA in the other side.
Yeah.
So, potentially France, Spain in the semi-final you could be looking at. And obviously playing England in the final.
Yeah.
Whoever wins that game will play England in the final.
Exactly.
After Messi's been man-marked by Declan Rice.
Yeah, exactly.
It's easy, innit? Yeah, really easy.
Oh, Ash, and on that point, final, New York City.
Yeah.
We're going to be there. Let's kick it off. We're going to be in the ground in New York, in the Big Apple.
Yes. Cannot wait. Finally back to New York.
Yes. And I think, like you said, your memories of 94 and obviously the heartache we had at Wembley in 2021 to watch England win the World Cup.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be one of the greatest days in my life.
But in all seriousness, whoever gets there, great occasion, New York City, the Big Apple.
New York, baby.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. But it's going to be amazing to be on the ground there, speak to fans, get the subscriber count up on Let's Kick It Off. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, right. Can't wait for England fans singing. And after all, you're my wonderwall.
Guys, it's been a brilliant pod. I've absolutely loved it in the studio. Big shout out to Daniel. Mill Podcast Studio is the place to be in Stockport, the only place. So this has been amazing. Can't wait for the knockouts now. I'm feeling it, because I'll be honest, with the group stages, you're kind of waiting for it to get going. I think you mentioned that, AJ, right? But we're here now. So bring it on. Get behind the boys. Don't doubt them too much. Tuchel is the man we asked for. So it's here now. Let's get behind it. So come on, England.
Come on, England.
Come on, England.
Come on. And guys, thanks for joining us on this episode. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment, all the usual stuff. We're going to be in New York on the ground for the final as well. So thanks for joining us on this episode, and we'll catch you on the next one.